Well, Lydia Ko entered 2024 2 points shy of Hall of Fame eligibility. She took care of one of those points in the first event of the season when she won the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions. It was her 20th career win on the LPGA Tour, and 27 points are needed for entry into the LPGA Hall of Fame. Lydia Ko currently sitting at 26, and players get 1 point for every win and an additional point if they win a major championship. Players also earn a point if they win the Vera Trophy or the Rolex Player of the Year, and a point for each Olympic medal. So Ko, with 2 career major championships, the 2015 Evian Amundi Championship, 2016 Chevron Championship. She's had some close calls here at the KPMG Women's PGA, notably the 2016 event, of course, that was held here at Sahalee, that playoff with Brooke Henderson, and a 3rd place finish back in 2014. And we are so pleased to welcome Lydia Ko to the Golf Central set here at Sahalee Country Club. Lydia, we got to see you out on the golf course today, getting all your preparations underway. What is it like being back at Sahalee for another KPMG Women's PGA Championship?
One, I feel old that now I'm returning to these golf courses that I've played before. But yeah, definitely great to come back to a golf course where I know I've played well at. We had such beautiful weather today, so it was nice to kind of take the whole golf course in. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I don't remember all of the holes, to be honest. I remember, a few here and there, but in ways I think it's good to sometimes not remember it because, you're trying to be more focused and more on it and see, how you need to play the hole right now. I feel like my game has changed. I'm hitting a little longer than I did in 2016, so my lines off the tee is also a bit different. But, great to be here in Seattle at Sahalee.
Well, I mean, last time you were here, you were a teenager. Now you're this old married woman. So much has happened since then. How have you really seen your game, grow and develop since you were here in 2016?
Yeah, I feel like, some things may have been better when I was a teenager, but I do feel like the experience and those kind of things you can't really nobody can take that away from you, whether it's like technique and all, you can always work to, be better and keep improving, but experience and you being in certain situations, that comes once and, that's in your memory bank. Sometimes my body feels it, when I'm playing consecutive rounds, so, I am realizing that I am not an 18-year-old playing out on tour anymore, but at heart, I feel like I'm still 18 and, just enjoying my time out here. And as much as I think things have changed and, generations have changed, there are things that are quite similar from then as well. So I can kind of draw back on that.
Lydia, you've had a little bit of time off since the U.S. Women's Open. What have you been working on to get ready for this week?
Yeah, as much as I would have loved to have played on the weekend at the U.S. Women's Open, there was a lot of things I could take away from that, especially in the swing. What are the, couple key points that I really need to focus on that will kind of create the type of shot shape that I want. And it was just great that my coaches were there and we were all on the same page and knew what direction to go to. Whereas I feel like in the past there have been positions where I'm making cuts and it's good, but you're not really sure exactly what you need to work on to be better. But I had a lot of clarity after that week, so worked on that for the past couple weeks and enjoyed some time off. And normally from middle of June to middle of late August is our kind of big stretch of events, especially with the Olympics this year. So trying to keep my energy levels up and keep progressing, and I feel like I'm in a better position now than at the U.S. Women's Open, which is definitely a good mindset and place to be heading into this week.
You mentioned the memory bank. Take us back to 2016 in the playoff here with Brooke Henderson. Of course, not the ultimate result that you would have wished for, but such a great week for you overall. Describe what that experience was like.
Yeah, I think that I hadn't really been in contention at majors that often. I'd actually won the last two majors that I had played coming into the week, but it wasn't like, oh, I know what this feeling is like. I missed a short one on the 71st hole for birdie that ended up making me go into a playoff, but I think at that time I was upset. If I said I didn't cry, I would be lying. I was upset because I felt like a 3-footer that should be easy. But there are a lot of things down the line, and when I look at some of Brooke's highlights, it was unbelievable golf she played. And I'm pretty sure Aria, Brooke, and I all had bogey-free rounds on that last day. So going into that day, if somebody said, "Hey, you're gonna shoot this number and make no bogeys," I would have said, okay, count me in, no matter what position I would have finished in. So I think at the time it's sometimes hard to take in that situation and what you have to face with. But, looking back at it now, that was one of my best finishes here at this event. And it's cool to come back here and hopefully I can revenge on some of those feelings. But, that shot that Brooke hit to like a footer, like 2 feet on that last hole in the first playoff hole was impressive. And I don't think it does matter if you've played on tour for 20 years or for 1 year, like being in that kind of position and her hitting a shot like that, that just showed what a deserving winner she was.
Your career, you've had these just amazing comebacks, and you're just so resilient. Like you started off as a teenager, winning everything, and then you're kind of takes a little bit of a lull, and then you come back, and like 2022, you had this amazing year, Player of the Year, multiple-time winner, and then 2023 didn't have the season you really wanted, but then towards the end of it, Grant Thornton Invitational, you won. How are you able to do that? How are you able to come back with such a great attitude and make it happen? Be able to come back and win and be a world #1 Player of the Year again?
Honestly, I had this conversation with my sister last year where I was really struggling. I had missed another cut in Portland, and I said, I am really unsure if I'm ever going to be able to win again. I'm sure that was the feeling I got when I won in Hawaii for the first time in 3 years. But golf is a crazy game. You shoot 65 and the next day you shoot 75, and you're like, not much was different between the two rounds. And it's very easy for you to fall down the train of not knowing if you're ever going to be able to compete at a very high level. I've been very fortunate to surround myself with such a great team and supportive family that has helped me throughout the journey. And I feel like, especially my family, we have all grown so much during this time, whereas maybe when I first came on tour, it may have felt easy and looked easy, even though it never was easy. I think having those ups and downs made us all realize that, it's never been easy, but sometimes we take these good moments for granted. And I'm very grateful for the year I had in 22, which obviously set up this opportunity for being in the Hall of Fame, which that too, I didn't think I was Hall of Fame worthy. And, now I have this opportunity. And last year was tough, but to be able to win, at my home club at Lake Nona to start the year, I think being 1 point away is a lot easier than being 2 points. And actually, Amy Alcott, she called me a couple weeks ago and said she was in that position of being in the Hall of Fame. And at that time, the requirement, she hadn't met it. But they changed the rules, and now she was in. And she said she understands the feeling of being close, but you aren't in. And it was just great to talk to somebody like her and some of the other legends like Nancy and Meg and Beth that have come and given me so much support. So I'm honestly enjoying this journey, and I want to play at the highest level I can while I am playing. And if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. But to me, my goal is not to just be in the Hall of Fame, but to be able to win as many times as I can while I am still playing.
Lydia, you did make it look easy for a long time, and those 2 majors came really early in your career. What would it mean to you to win a third at this stage?
Yeah, it would It'd be pretty unreal. I kind of forget that I am a major champion because I won that in my teens. But no, I'm in a next chapter of my life. You know, like you said, an older married woman, now a dog mom, which are things that I wouldn't have imagined I would be saying at 27. But it's, I think it would be just great because I think as you get older, you realize who are the people that really mean a lot to you and who really cares. So that circle, unfortunately, goes from like this to a lot smaller, but I think that's why it's going to be more meaningful. And, you know, I'm trying to, as a team, invest in whether it's my time or travels to make every kind of minute worth it and, you know, kind of take more authority in my decisions and, you know, what I want to do, like going forward, whether it's schedule or practice. So, yeah, it's, I think it would mean a lot, just not because I'm a major champion again, but just so the, like all the sacrifices and time, not only myself, but my team and family have put in. And, you know, all of us are like, I feel so grateful that I have this passionate team that wants it as much as me, and it's not for the money and all that. It's honestly because they want me to just keep excelling, and I'm very lucky to have those kind of people around me because, like that too, it's not like with every person you have that.
And speaking of the Hall of Fame, of course, the 1 point away for you to get that point would be a medal at the Olympic Games. You've already won a bronze and a silver. So this year you have the opportunity to go back again and represent your home country of New Zealand. What were your experiences like in the past getting to compete in the Olympic Games, and what are you looking forward to most about this edition in Paris?
I mean, if I win gold at this Paris Olympics, someone should get me a glass slipper because I'm like a Cinderella story. You know, when I was playing in Rio for the first time, I was #1 at the time, and I think there was a lot of pressure because, you know, there's only a certain amount of players, and you're the highest ranked player. Your odds, like everybody looking in, is like your odds are so high in like medaling, and to have won silver, it kind of gave me goosebumps. And listening to the South Korean national anthem when, you know, MB was getting her gold, I was like, wow, like I get goosebumps hearing the Korean national anthem. Like imagine what I'd get, you know, listening to the New Zealand national anthem. You know, Tokyo was a little, you know, the world was at a different place and time, so I don't think I could experience and enjoy the games as much as maybe Rio. But it was, to be in that position and medal again, I was like, wow, it's like, how can I be 2 for 2? And at least until Paris is over, I can say I have the most medal in like golf, you know, between men and women. So that's something that I take pride in. But you know, I feel very proud to represent New Zealand on a daily basis, you know, having the flag next to my name, but to be at the Olympics and stand on the podium, I don't think there's any other, you know, feeling that matches that. And I love that the Olympics celebrates each and every athlete that's there. And to say that you're not second behind MB Park or third behind Nelly, you're a gold medalist, a silver medalist, and a bronze medalist, and an Olympian if you're competing. I think that just summarizes the beauty of the game, and I think that's why we're all in the sports, and that's probably my favorite thing about the game. So I'm excited to, you know, it could potentially be, and very highly likely be, my last Olympics. So it would be a last hurrah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of a last hurrah, since you brought it up, you've said in the past that you would potentially want to retire at 30. Is that something that still is the plan for you, or is it just a wait and see, let's ride this thing out and see where it takes us?
Honestly, it changes day by day. I shot 80 at the U.S. Women's Open. I was like, okay, I'm out of here soon. I definitely think, you know, it's obviously not as close as Lexi, which I'm also super happy for her, you know, her decision. But, you know, I don't think there's like an exact date or what age I want to, you know, stop playing. But Lorena Ochoa has been a big role model of mine on how she finished her career, and she was still playing at a high level. She obviously still loves the game, and what she's doing to give back to golf in Mexico is just, it's something that I would like to do in my future. You know, golf has given me so much as I've had my share of tears and frustration through golf. It has given me so much love and joy, and you know, some of the friendships that I have on tour. So I want to leave golf while I still love it and enjoy it, and I would rather leave with the thought of, oh, if I had played more, maybe, rather than the feeling of, you know what, I should have left then. It has given me so much to think that, you know, I would hate to be in a position where I, you know, hate the game and I don't even want to look at my clubs anymore. And, you know, who knows, I could do an Annika and come back and dominate like she did again. But yeah, I know that I'm definitely past my halfway chapter, and I'm excited and for what's ahead, whether it's, you know, my competitive golf and after that. And my team and family have been super supportive and like guiding me in the direction that I would like to go in. So yeah, I'm really excited. But for now, I have to conquer Sahalee and the hallways down here. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yes, you do. Well, you have given us so many amazing moments, and we will continue to watch those incredible moments for as long as you want to have them. We'll always be such great big fans of yours, and best of luck as you try to conquer these hallways, Lydia. We really appreciate
the hallway.
The hallway. So hallway. Okay. Well, if you want to watch Lydia Ko take on Sahalee, she's going to be teeing off at 4:39 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, alongside Brooke Henderson and Arya Jutanugarn in the first round of the KPMG Women's PGA Championship.